Hello, beautiful souls. This never happens in ordinary days. Okay. Whenever I'm channeling or about to bring a message, yes, there is massive throat activation definitely going on, and especially for the divine masculines. But I would love to hear from all of you. How are you doing? What symptoms are you going through? A lot of the divine feminines are definitely feeling a sense of detachment, but also ever increasing sense of, like I have talked in my other channel, confusion, frustration, um, wondering, and a desire to move in a particular direction, trying to find out what that direction is, what it means for her or him, as the case might be. Um, really trying to understand what all went on in 2018. And in that light, today um, I'm bringing you this video. Hi, I'm Nikita, and if you are new, I welcome you to my channel. And I'm not really sure how long this video is going to be, as long as the battery lasts, I guess. And I might try to throw in reading, if nothing else, postcards from spirit for sure, towards the end of the read of this video. But the fact that we all are in one soul family, we are all connected, and one's experience should always be used to benefit others has always been my belief system, which is why earlier I used to blog as well. I had 3 blogs mm, over a period of a few years. Um, what I have kind of jotted down very briefly, and this by no means covers it all, but what I what were the most important takeaways from me? And since we are all are connected, and in one form or the other, these are broadly things that most of us do go through sooner or later. And if you've already gone through but you have not reached an epiphany, this might assist you in that. If your dark night of the soul is about to come upon you, such as the third wave was in 2019, that is what might be coming through for you. And those who are finding themselves in a stagnant or stuck situation is because you have not completed some amount of inner work or let go of a certain pattern and things like that. So this may really shed light. So I'm just going to start taking you through, and if more stuff comes, and then when I start channeling, you will always know, because my tone, my speed of talking, my sometimes my accent also slightly changes. My voice sometimes changes. So apart from fully realizing everything is truly a gift, I definitely learned full surrender. So, when I talk about surrender and letting go from situations, understanding that end of the day, you can only change yourself, not any other person. You cannot control them, their decision, choices, because a person will always respond to any situation or experience from what is based from their experience, their level of consciousness at that time, their level of awakening, and their speed. So you cannot rush somebody to awaken or see your perspective, even though they may be your twin or your soulmate or your divine partner or any label that you associate yourselves with, the one, true love, whatever. You felt a deep soul connection, and you want things on a certain timetable and you want it in a certain way, and this journey will sooner or later make you very aware that you are not in charge, you're not in control, and the only one you can work on and change, and you truly can change. Even the most hardcore essence of yours, you can change if you, instead of suppressing it, defeating it, you just learn to befriend it. I'll come to that. So, learning to let go starts with understanding, and the process I went through, some of them, and you might be going through, if not all. I have not also written all, but some of them were feeling defeatist in the initial stages of surrender. It's like, yeah, might as well, what can I do about it, kind of thing. Then comes a surrender of, in the sense of begging. I've done everything you said, God, universe, please now would you do this. Then comes a sense of bargaining. Where is my reward? Where is my this? Why, if I do this, can you give me that? Angry that fuck it, I don't want it anyways, and this is all useless, and I don't even think it's real, and all that kind of stuff. A sense of hopelessness. The surrender reaches a point of, it's not true surrender yet, by the way, but it sometimes reaches the phase of hopelessness and then of helplessness, that feeling of deep, deep victimization by the universe, feeling completely powerless. And the minute you understand that I'm using the word powerless, which means I'm still operating from the ego. And that's what you have to do, is put everything, nothing is too minute, under a microscope. So I fully understood and realized how to surrender, let go, and trust in divine timing. I want to club these three things together. I understood the true meaning of faith in myself, in my connection, and of course in the universe or God. Um, I learned that having faith in myself essentially translated into having that amount of faith on my twin. So if you find yourself lacking trust that your twin will do the right thing, ask yourself, where have you not done the right thing or taken smart decisions, and let go of that because it was in the past. Maybe you were not equipped, be it mentally, emotionally. I'm not saying make excuses or justifications for past errors, but if you have learned and grown from a certain experience, you don't need to carry that in your folder of being a failure, not doing the right thing, or not stepping up. Whatever you see as a failure or as a problem or something wrong in your twin, look within you where you have either done that before or you are still doing it, but it may be in a different aspect of life. Um, in the meaning of faith, I also learned how to listen to my soul and learn to distinguish between what my heart was actually saying rather than what my emotions was saying, coming into alignment between the mind and heart. But I'm now okay. Being patient. Everyone all my life complimented me on how patient and persistent a person I was, how I would keep at something till I did not get to a certain end. And yet, this journey tested my patience. I wanted to throw in the towel, and I would have meltdowns in front of God, and I'd be like, how much more patience do you want me to have? till I was shown certain visions and certain understandings were downloaded to me. I was like, damn, this can take forever. And from there came the understanding why it's futile to sit and wait, that you have to pay attention on working on your life, yourself, making the most of each and every moment, because whatever you do, your divine masculine is sure to do, maybe after 2 months, maybe after 3 months, maybe even after a year of you reaching that point and of clarity, of mastery, of understanding, of implementing, most importantly, right? And I realized how hating patience is completely contradictory to being patient. It's not just about being patient, it's about the attitude you keep during your being patient, right? And it is very crucial, how crucial this time apart, this separation, how healing, how insightful, how important for growth. It's like the time, from the time the seed cracks and the roots start actually going in and, you know, holding the soil firmly, before you can start seeing even the beginning of the sapling come out of the soil. I understood how crucial this phase of the equation was, because whether someone wants it or not, if one of you is doing the inner work, the work, you will see remarkable difference. Even if they're in denial, even if they're in resistance, some things just shift automatically, and after a point the universe steps in with tower moments after tower moments and tower moments, and there's stagnant energy and the same things, failure, or perceived as failure, it's air quotes. um, it's more about the universe trying to wake them up and make them realize you're going down the wrong road. It's like a flagging down. Don't go down that road with stop signs and, with those roadblocks and stuff. And if somebody still keeps going, a lot of other signs and synchronicities come as tower moments to make them stop, you know, stop the car. I understood the importance of inner work, and because a lot of you have asked me, I'm going to briefly take you through uh, the steps I follow, and sometimes I can go through each of these in a couple of hours. Sometimes I do one step and there's a pause of a couple of hours and then the next step, and sometimes it can even take me 2 to 3 days. But now the more you practice, the faster you can get through. And it's not a matter of how quickly you can get through each stage, it's a matter of how thoroughly, so that it's not the same issue that turns up again and again. So, supposing we're talking about triggers and emotions, unpleasant emotions, be it of resentment, hopelessness, feeling a lack of self worth, low self esteem, feeling rejected, or any of those things, you have to sit with it and feel it fully. This is what frightens most people, because um, when you cry, everyone around you tells you, don't cry, stop crying. First, you stop crying, have some water. So you have to now unlearn that of not feeling it fully, because it is an uncomfortable position. It feels like your heart is being stabbed and is cracking open, and you go through this huge purge. But if you just cry and then suppress it, the purging, the catharsis, and then the epiphany cannot come through. So you have to feel it fully, not hiding it, not denying, not suppressing, diverting yourself or your mind, not getting into, oh, I'll go and hang out with my friends, or I'll get drunk, or, I'm going to do something else. What I do find as an activity which does help, if you need some physical exercise, but you're willing to stay in the feeling of what you're going through is cleaning out, be it a drawer, be it your clothes cupboard, because the more you clear your space in a physical sense, for me at least, the association is I'm cleaning my inner area, my inner self as well. Acknowledging it and naming it. I'm in pain. Okay. What kind of pain? I'm feeling he doesn't care. Nobody ever cares. Okay. Give it another label. I feel I'm not important enough. I'm not enough. Now you're beginning to get closer. See, is it I feel neglected, so it is a deficiency of attention? Is it I'm feeling rejected because the person was wanting more time to get things clear, had some things in their life to deal with and complete certain cycles, and they might not even have the wherewithals to tell you that. But if they are with another person, it does tell you that there is something pending, and when the time comes for it to be ended and they are prolonging it, uh, well, you don't want to be around at that time because they'll be going through tower moments after tower moments. So you have to acknowledge it, name it, keep asking yourself to get more specific with what exactly you're feeling. And then you can use the breathing method, you can cry, you can journal, and you can write and burn the piece of paper, any of your release techniques. Once you've got your breath, ask yourself, be relentless, be a little stern with yourself in this because you don't want to go back to feeling, right? Or you can do the releasing after this step also, is ask, when else have I felt this exact same feeling when so and so chose somebody else to be the lab partner, even though I was the best friend, when my parents complimented the neighbor's daughter, but I had done all the work, or the teacher gave more marks to somebody, but I had done an equally good project, whatever. Think back to when else have you felt that way, when I was not picked for my team or for the drama team. Or see, when we are children, we are born with a very healthy self esteem and just two fears. I don't want to go way off topic, but everything else is acquired, every belief is acquired, be it from our bloodlines, be it through social conditioning, be it through what we have been taught by our parents, our grandparents, our relatives, our teachers, our religious leaders. Everything else is acquired. So you have to ask yourself, when else have I felt it? And when else? And when else? And when else? Till you reach a rock bottom when you can't think of anything else, but there's a lingering feeling that it might be coming from the past life. Also, check for any branches from those incidents. I also felt jealous. I also felt insecure. I also felt snubbed. Look for those branches around this main core emotion that you felt, so that when you're releasing, you release all those offshoots as well. And what were the belief systems I developed around it? I will never allow someone to get this close to me ever again. I will never trust anyone with XYZ. Just because of one random incident, you decided not to allow physical intimacy with anybody else because somebody took advantage of your naivety or your young age or something. And most women have at least experienced sexual harassment, eve teasing, being mauled, felt up, unwanted attention sometime in their life globally. So what did any unpleasant incident make you feel, and when else have you felt that way? And what other offshoots were there around this main thing that you have been triggered vis-a-vis your twin flame or anybody else who is currently acting as your mirror? And do some more releasing. I then, after that, work with Ho'oponopono with all those people who have surfaced, every one of them. And I always add two more lines. I forgive you and I forgive myself. The original Ho'oponopono has four: I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. But I add before thank you, I forgive you and I forgive myself. Mm. And then I actually work with true gratitude once I am feeling much better for the benefit and the gift it was carrying. There's always a benefit in the sense one unpleasant incident may have made you wary of all the people of the opposite gender, or taught you to have your radar on, or made you more aware of your surroundings and kept you safe, even though you got it into a high alert zone all the time. But the hidden benefit you were receiving, whenever as a hypnotherapist, you ask someone, as my teacher had taught me, what is the benefit of you staying in the situation? And they're like, nothing. No, but there is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be staying. It's either comfort, it's either it is known, it's either that I feel at least they have seen the worst side of me, and I don't want to take a risk by going through a new relationship and letting them see my warts, my scars, my battle scars, my wounds, and having to deal with relearning them and them relearning me. And so I might as well play it safe and stay in the situation. These are all just examples, all right? So, and what was the gift it was carrying? Because the minute you release it, you'll start understanding the gift it was carrying. For example, when somebody did not stand up for you, the gift they bought you was learning to speak up for yourself or becoming assertive. When someone did not show up for you, they were bearing the gift of letting you show up for yourself. So instead of carrying the belief of victimhood, victimization, now you can change the narrative and the story by seeing the blessings, the benefit, and the gift that situation from your past, all of them, what they bought you. And now you can release it so that it doesn't have to replay with your twin flame. Healing my inner children by first listening to them, acknowledging, wording them, saying it aloud or journaling that this is what I felt when this was happening. They made me feel no. They did this no. The focus has to keep being brought back to I felt. It's on me. I felt this. Justified or not, nobody, you're not being accused, you're not in court, you don't have to feel um, the need to explain to anyone why you felt it. It's all right. But you have to express it in the language of I felt. That's how the inner child feels heard. Wording the feelings, concerns, fears, or anything else, and then asking them what do they need from you. And don't be surprised how rapidly the answers do come after you have practiced inner child conversation, meditation. You can use a guided meditation or anything to access them. Or if you go for hypnotherapy, it is very rapid, very quick. You integrate those who are healed, those who are willing. The remainder or remaining, if it's just one, you keep them in your parameter, ask them to stay around so that when they are ready, when they trust you enough that you will not let them down, they will integrate automatically. I also then work with affirmations after I have done these few steps. I might have missed a few over here. So, now some of the things that um, highlights, let's say, because I can't cover everything today, but what I learned how to be understanding towards my twin flame and hence others without sacrificing my well being. A lot of times, those who are light beings, light workers, empaths, indigo children, crystal children, we are used to taking care of others and sometimes at the cost of our own well being. We end up not saying no to others because they would feel bad or something like that, but at the cost of ourselves. Anytime you're not comfortable for any reason to saying yes, be it time constraint, be it that you feel depleted, be it you already have too much on your plate, be it that the company of that person or the group of people drain you, deplete you, say no. And as far as possible, be authentic. All right. So I can understand, I can place myself in their position, um, and understand their perspective. I understand the need for uh, wanting to complete a cycle, a phase, or whatever it may be. But I do not have to put up with unhealthy behavior less than what I deserve by staying. I can create a distance and give them the time and space they need to catch up to my level of consciousness, vibration, energy. I learned that I gave far too many chances before them earning or working for even a second chance. Being a 5D person, and this has been going on since my childhood, when somebody hurt me, I would articulate it. And the minute they would say sorry, I'd be like, okay. And I'd go back to being smiley and be fine, trusting that I have expressed to them. So they are going to now work on it. They're going to change. I did not wait to see the changed behavior before taking them in. And what that did is teach them that it was okay for them to continue with that behavior. All they had to do was say sorry. So they did not work or earn their second chance. And I would then get tired after giving them the thousandth chance and then walk away, which I should have done the first time round. That brings me to the next one. I learned I always stayed longer than I should have, hoping they'd change. What does staying and leaving mean? Explaining what that action is, why it is so important for you, without trying to change them or control them. For example, if somebody wants to keep you in a third party situation, you can say, I love you. I do not want to be a part of this holy mess. Once you have made a clear decision, we can talk about how to come on the same page. Because I always stayed in situations, and I'm not just talking romantic ones here, even in jobs or something, that it would get better. Things would get better because I'm working so hard. I'm showing them my worth. I would work harder and harder to prove my worth, whereas I was perfectly fine. I learned my high vibrations were not meant to be sponged off by those who couldn't generate their own, and because their bucket came with a hole, it kept draining off, right? And hence it was an endless loop, it was an endless pit, and it left me feeling sucked dry every time. And so it was okay for me to distance myself from those people till they learned how not to suck my energy, how I could say no to even sending healing to the loved ones of certain people because I knew it was just entering a void, and not feel guilty about it. I learned just because I could or I was strong enough, I didn't have to take things on or get into situations which were just bringing old patterns into my life. I could say no, thank you, since I've already learned that lesson and I've already worked through at my end, and the other party clearly hadn't learned their lessons or worked on that issue. I could tell the universe, no, thank you. I'm not seeing the changes yet. Or I can see this is going to be a repeat of XYZ situations, and I don't want that. I don't choose that to be part of my current timeline. And that this was okay. Not making every battle my own or every fight my own was perfectly fine. I didn't have to do it. I didn't have to take it just because I was strong. In Dark Knight, Batman says, we'll chase him, or you'll chase me because I can take it. It doesn't mean he should. Of course, that's a different genre and a different story. But you're not Batman. You're not the town's vigilante. You're doing your light work. You're doing your service work. You don't have to take on added burdens and responsibilities and the pain by staying in dense energy situations or around low vibrational people who just demean you, pull down your morale, have nothing good to say to you, will just be pointing fingers at their perceived flaws, which, when you tell them that I'm just mirroring you, they won't even understand that line. I'm just triggering you. They will not understand. They will just end up blaming you. Yes, just because you can take it doesn't mean you have to, is what I'm trying to say. I learned how to switch off my mind, body, relationships, and specifically social media. I have not watched much television apart from a couple of movies. Very recently, been on social media. Again, very recently, I was permitted to go on and I found it so uncomfortable. I just went off it again. Even from chatting on groups like WhatsApp, um, when it's not comfortable for me, when my body or my mind needs to be still and silent because I'm getting downloads, because I'm channeling, because I just need that quiet, because there's something else going on, there's a regeneration, there's something else going on, and for any reason. I might have kitchen work to do. I might have my own hobbies to pursue. It's perfectly fine to switch off and not again be made to feel guilty or apologetic about it. Currently, I am also aware of what I still am working, which is work in progress, One of them being procrastination and completely avoiding social interaction. The thing is, and it's not an excuse, but I have such close ties with my clients, with my friends, those who are in my inner circle. I don't really feel the need for any other social interaction. And because I don't feel the need, and people around me, be it my maid, be it anyone, it's not about intelligence, it's not about strata, it's not about how much money somebody makes, it's not about the income, anything. But they're all very high vibrational beings. And that is so amazing. But now, when from time to time I have to deal with 3D people or 3D energies, earlier I would get completely off center. I would get so depleted. The exhaustion still happens if it is for more than a limit, certain time. Even now, though I shield and everything, and I come back and I have to recharge myself for 15 minutes at least. So big social gatherings, malls, cinema halls are a complete no-no for me. Being an empath, I start tapping into a lot of energies and emotions. So, but that is something I know I need to work on. My physical activity, yes, physical activity in the sense of yoga or exercising regularly. It's always stop and start. I also learned what it truly means to be gentler and kinder to myself by becoming aware of the mind chatter. Or one of the things, this is something I learned before I met my twin, was to listen to the mental voice, which is the parent or the adult voice in your consciousness, which actually is not even yours, which is very judgmental, which is very critical, which is very demanding, which is very perfectionist, which is never satisfied. No matter what you've done, how much you've accomplished, it just keeps pushing for more and more and more delivery. And I learned how to switch that voice off. And it takes a little bit of practice and patience, as does everything. The 3 P's I believe in, I've been teaching for now 10 years or longer: patience, practice, persistence. Some of the things you might be healing are trust issues, sense of being betrayed, jilted, abandoned, your worth not being valued or recognized, feelings of injustice, that this is not fair, rejection, and so on and so forth, which I've spoken a lot in my other audios, videos, so I won't go on. But those are some of the things I have also healed from mine, this life, past life, subconscious, family ties, understanding, oh, this, my mother, carried this kind of emotion or this kind of belief, or this came from my father. Oh, I have seen this in my sister too, or, and started recognizing that that's what I'm clearing out from my family lineage. So, what are the tools that helped me and will definitely help you? Is my surrender and faith in God. Absolute must. You have to work on that. You have to work on. You will question it. You will even go through. I have spoken in my previous video how you will. There comes a time when you completely lose your way. You feel God has abandoned you, and that maybe God doesn't exist, and whatever the atheist might be right. There's a complete loss of faith. I went through that in around 2003 or 4. I don't remember exactly currently. What helped me is communicating all day long with my spiritual team, be it asking angels for help or just sharing what I was joyful about or what I was experiencing, or asking them for um, help, locating my pressure cooker whistle if it got misplaced, talking to my nonna from my Italian life. She helps me out greatly with my recipes, talking to my to God, to my masters, guides, going to my in between life space, which I will be teaching you towards the end of the quantum healing session. For those of you who are already taking quantum healing with me, towards the end of it, I will be teaching you that and get you introduced to your masters as well. Um, Affirmations, subliminal music are one of the beautiful sites I highly recommend to everyone is Divine White Light. She has Reiki music and it's very short, and you can just put on the music and you can continue doing whatever it is you want to do. You can just sit peacefully, you can meditate, you can go ahead and chop your vegetables or whatever it is you are doing while listening to it. And I love it. Divine White Light. Being of service. The more you see other people's problems, the smaller your issues appear. Ho'oponopono, being moon rituals, setting intentions uh, on new moons and clearing and releasing during the full moons are like absolutely wonderful, and I have found them very useful. Regular prayer, and in prayer, not just asking but thanking. Clearing, shielding, and cleansing my energy. Selenite is a wonderful crystal for that. Working with crystals, all kinds of wonderful books are there, sites are there. Um, those of you who work with me, I do recommend certain crystals to you from time to time. An attitude of gratitude for whatever I have, whatever is going on, whatever the lessons are coming to me, constantly staying or coming back to a state and attitude of gratitude, seeing things from the observer position and from all perspectives. Whenever anything is going on, and once I have done my clearing and releasing, purging, all of that, I rise to an observer point of view. And again, this will depend on your level of consciousness and how much you have evolved. But there comes a point when you can see things from a very high perspective. And whenever you see something from the top, the bird's eye view, you see a larger picture, the blueprint or a landscape, topography kind of of the whole event unfolding past and present and how it's weaving together and where it's leading towards, and from everyone's perspective, those who are involved. Detaching, for me, simply detaching means not to make the situation, the experience about me. If somebody is angry, I don't have to take the anger personally, but realize that is something they might need to heal. I rather just listen to what they are trying to say rather than the tone or whatever. This works with pretty much everyone except with my father. I'm still healing that. Asking for help. After I have done a lot or I have a lot on my platter, it's perfectly fine to reach out for help, but don't get into the habit of always first reaching for help before even trying to do things on your own. Have you thought it through? Have you even researched it? Have you made some efforts? Only after that can you ask for assistance and not take it for granted, not take it as something that will naturally be given to you. When you ask, you may receive, you may not receive. You should not go in asking for help with a sense of entitlement. And once you've received it, you must always, always show appreciation and gratitude. And finally, some of the gifts that this journey has really brought to me is I have really started valuing everything I actually have. Um, my spiritual awakening, the very conscious level of it. Some things I was just born with and it stayed with me, but has been going on for quite some time. And so I've really seen who's who and what they're bringing to the table, or um, who is truly there for me and who's there for an ulterior motive, you know. So, valuing those who I have or what I have in whatever situation, what got increased and multiplied was my intuition, my clairsentience, my telepathy, my clairvoyance, my channeling, my healing abilities, my divination, like for example, tarot or oracle cards or pendulum, whatever. I also found a lot of people from my soul family. I made very genuine friends, and my manifestation abilities also grew many, many fold. And I'm just checking the time. I do have time for a quick postcard from Spirit for those of you who are still here and listening. Thank you for your patience, and I really hope what I have shared with you will really help you. And it might just be about getting you insight, or it might clarify something to you, something that you have been working with or struggling with. And it will just, my intention to share this with you all was that yes, there's a lot you have to clear out, um, accept, befriend, be it your ego, or let go of old things, situations that made you angry, fearful, guilty, shame. Where is that fear coming from? All of that. And sometimes it can happen when you are aligned, right? So it's not that, oh my God, I have to sit and do this for 24 hours and then I will reach a certain amount of clarity and epiphany. No, just be regular with whatever spiritual practices you're doing. Just be open to receiving and follow your intuition, your inner guidance, the signs and synchronicities, and you'll be just fine. You will make your progress. And don't shy away from the difficult emotions. Dearest you, uncertainty is the new normal for the whole world. Things are changing at a rapid pace, and the old ways we once trusted are no longer reliable. But leaving the familiar behind can be a good thing. Did I not start this video with this? When you are pushed to step into the unknown, you are pulled forward into discovering new possibilities that have been hidden in plain sight. Check in with your higher power. Your soul knows better than your small self. Have faith in the support of a higher power and the infinite potential for your life. Right now, the advice we have for you is this: try something new, do something different. You won't know how it feels, what it looks like, or what the outcome will be if you do not take that first step into the unknown and experience the unfamiliarity. You'll be so glad you did, because the treasure will appear. We are proud of you for being brave. You're so loved and so supported. This kind of encapsulates everything I kind of said. Just one final message. Another one, please, Spirit. Dear you, sometimes you just feel like no one understands you. You're not heard, or even that you don't count. This, my dear, is a terrible illusion, and although your feelings tell you that abandonment is real, did I not just speak about all of this? Well, we who love you know better. You're never alone, and even when rejection happens, you are ultimately being protected so better things can replace what wouldn't have worked in the first place. Everyone on this side of the veil is watching over you and rooting for your ultimate success. Life loves you, we love you, and you're a unique spark of the universe, of the divine, and always connected to the light and to the source. You're always in our care. Trust and keep the faith. Love you always and forever. I really, really love postcards from Spirit because they just become like the beautiful bow on the present. They just neatly tie up everything every time. So, if you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to just now at this time, tilt your phone, give it a thumbs up, and please do share. And I love to hear from all of you. So please do comment below and let me know what you thought, how much it resonated. And I just want to leave you all with a lot of love and light, and hope that you will be back soon for the next video, which I will try and do something for Valentine's Day. Something is a move, definitely. All right, leaving you with a lot of love